Welcome back to episode 8, where I'm making Prue's Sussex pond pudding. Trying a new format this time where I use an aerial camera to film the baking. So I'd love to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments. So when I first saw this recipe made on the show, I thought honestly that it sounded disgusting. Kind of like 2020 in dessert form. Like I wanted a normal year, I got a pandemic. Wanted a normal dessert, got this strange pastry with a literal whole lemon inside. This is a very old recipe that dates back to 1672. It uses something called suet for the pastry, which I had never heard of before. Suet, it turns out, is the raw, hard fat of beef, lamb, or mutton found around the loins and kidneys. Not really selling it for me, especially because I'm pescatarian, so I don't eat any of those things. Luckily, there is a vegetable substitute, and that is actually what the recipe called for. This is a package of vegetable suet. I got it on Amazon. This box is by appointment to Her Majesty the Queen, manufacturers of cakes and culinary products. So this is what it is. It looks kind of like cheese, and I wouldn't recommend looking at the nutrition facts. Just not even gonna go there, I'm gonna put it away. So this recipe called for 285 milliliter pudding molds, which I have here. These were much harder to acquire than you might expect. I looked pretty much every website I could find. Nobody shipped to the US. Then I came across a company called Silverwood Bakeware based in Birmingham, England. These pudding molds are about 5 pounds each, but I had to pay about 60 pounds for international shipping. Not mad about it. It was totally worth it. I've used these for a few other baking recipes since. Prue rated this recipe as easy. No offense to Prue, I would like to respectfully disagree with that rating, especially as somebody who has never steamed anything before, let alone a steamed pudding. It wasn't the hardest recipe. The eclairs were definitely harder, but easy is just, no, not quite right. So to make these, once they were all arranged in the little pudding molds, the next step is to steam them. To steam them, I got this little steamer thing. You put this in the bottom of a pot, you put some water underneath it to let the steam go up. The pudding molds go in here like this, and you cover the pot for 2 hours, and you pour water in every now and then to let it continue to steam. The problem is because the pudding molds are covered, you have really no sense of when they're done or how high the heat should be or if it's steaming enough. So I was kind of just hoping for the best on that. One of my favorite parts of baking is when the pastry just pops right out of the container, and that is exactly what happened with these. I was super psyched about it and was really excited to dig in, even though I wasn't particularly thrilled about this dessert. So what's supposed to happen is that the lemon rind is supposed to become totally soft so that you can eat it. If you ever had candied lemon, I imagine that's kind of what it's supposed to have the consistency of. Unfortunately, I didn't steam them for quite long enough, even though I did steam them for 2 hours. I needed a little bit more steaming time for that lemon to fully soften. That being said, I thought they were delicious. The pastry was perfectly cooked. The filling, which is just butter and sugar, was delicious. And the lemon kind of like cut the sweetness. So I was a big fan of these desserts. I thought it tasted kind of like a lemon bar. My husband, who's British, said it tasted like a proper steamed pudding. That was exciting.
For the record, since I speak for the British Commonwealth and all British citizens everywhere, I'm tasting this. And I've now had 3 tastes, and I can say that it definitely tastes like a steamed pudding.
According to the Wikipedia page for this dessert, this rich and heavy pudding has gone out of fashion over the years, perhaps due to diet consciousness. So I can kind of see where that's coming from, given the nutrition facts on the vegetable suet and the fact that the filling was literally just a lot of butter and sugar. But you know what? It's good to indulge every now and then. Let me know what you thought and if you've ever made a steamed pudding in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time.